There's something I hear on sales calls all the time, and it still makes me laugh after all these years. I ask, "What do you sell?" And they say, "Well, don't look at our website because it doesn't really explain it." Which is such a funny and really not great sentence. Now, my company has been helping B2B tech companies with lead gen and sales collateral for over 6 years now. And somehow, despite $4 an hour freelancers and free AI tools, this problem is still everywhere. Like, what's stopping you from generating a new website in Claude Code? In a market where there's more competitors than ever, you would think there'd be more pressure about having a decent explanation of your product out there for buyers. And still, I keep talking to companies whose websites do not clearly describe what their product actually does. Thankfully, this problem is usually simple. You have a product, you have a website, the product changed, the website did not. And now you've got these two things just being held together by a logo, a few key sentences, and blind optimism. And that is not a strategy. So let's talk about how companies end up here, because it usually comes down to just three things. Now, the first one is simple. Money goes to product and sales, not to the story. And look, I get it. The market is rough. Everyone is chasing growth. Everyone wants more pipeline and warmer leads. Everyone wants to ship new features. They want to have some AI angle out there so they don't look like they're asleep at the wheel. So if there's money to spend, it usually goes to product first, sales second, and that one-person marketing team gets whatever's left over. And that's how you end up with a product team building version 4.0, a sales team pitching version 4.5 in live calls, and a website still describing version 2.3 like nothing happened. And then leadership wonders, why is the pipeline still dry? Well, maybe because the market has questions and your website is not answering them, or it's answering the wrong questions. Now, the second reason your website does not explain your product is that the product changes, but the story for some reason does not. And this happens constantly. A company moves up market. The team starts targeting a different buyer. New features get added. Old use cases stop mattering. The competitive landscape shifts, and the positioning changes in practice, but not on the page. Your engineering team knows all about it. Sales team, they know, especially since they can't use any of the case studies or white papers or any of the content on the current site. The leadership's team, they sort of know, but the money keeps coming in, so guess it's all right. But the website never gets updated because nobody owns the job of turning all of these changes into a clear story. So now the product your team is selling and the product your website is describing are two different things. And that's when I start hearing the sentence, "Yeah, don't look at our website." Now, the third reason that we run into is that leadership starts saying marketing doesn't work for us, when the real problem is that the message is weak. Now, I've had executives ask me for help generating more leads, and then 5 minutes later, they're saying things like, "Well, marketing actually doesn't work for us," or "We just need a new channel. We've tried all the channels. Nothing works. We need something to just take off on LinkedIn. Then we'll be fine." Or "Our category is too unique, and we really don't have any competitors." Right. This really does happen, and it's kind of like they tell me, "I need your help," and then they tell me, "Actually, we're fine, we don't need your help." And I just ask questions and I say, "How's that working for you?" Now, most of the time, the problems that companies face are much less exotic than any of these executives believe. Usually the real problem is that the company does not have a clear, current, useful explanation of what it's selling, who it's for, what problem it solves, and why someone should care right now. If you don't have answers to those questions just immediately, you've got a bigger problem. You don't have a channel problem. You don't have a platform problem. You don't even have a tactics problem. You have a story problem. You have no brand. And no amount of posting, boosting, sharing, upvoting, emailing, or ad spend is going to fix a bad explanation of your product. This is exactly why I started doing something I call the parallel universe. Now, when a company's main website is too outdated, too vague, or too politically messy to fix quickly, we build a separate sales experience for the product as it actually exists today. Might be a landing page, might be new messaging, might be new case studies, white papers, one-pagers, sales collateral, could be all of the above. The point is simple. You want to create a clean, current path for buyers that actually explains what the company does and gives sales something useful to send to people. It lives next to the old website, not inside of it. That's why I call it the parallel universe. You may have your main pre-COVID site over here, still mumbling its way through a stale explanation from 7 years ago. And then over here, you've got this clean, focused sales experience that speaks like a competent adult and describes the product people are actually buying. And yes, this does actually work. I like to tell people, you built a museum, we are going to build you a sales funnel. And that's why this works, because buyers are not asking for poetry or beautiful landscape to understand your company history. They're not asking for brand theater. They don't want to decode your webpage like it's some sort of riddle and they spent 10 minutes trying to figure out what it is that you do. They just want to know what you do. They want to know if it's relevant to them. They want proof. They want a reason to keep reading or to get on a call. That is it. If they didn't want that, they wouldn't visit your page and they wouldn't keep the tab open. And when you finally give them what they want, good things tend to happen. So if you ever find yourself saying, hey, we have a great product, just don't look at our website, maybe it's time to stop saying that and fix the problem. Because whether you like it or not, people are still judging your company by your web presence. Buyers are, prospects are, competitors are, and now AI is too. So if your website doesn't explain what you do, the market is just going to answer for you. And that usually doesn't go well. At least it probably doesn't go the way you want it to. So if you want help fixing this, shoot me an email at anthony@edifycontent.com or go to edifycontent.com and just click the Contact Us button. And yes, I will be looking at your website, even if you tell me not to, but I will happily get on a call and commiserate with you and laugh about it.